Folks, the breaking news out of Tarrant County, Texas. The medical examiner there has ruled that the death of Anthony Johnson Jr. has been ruled a homicide as a result of asphyxiation. Now, we talked yesterday with his parents. He spent 8 hours in the Tarrant County Jail before he was frankly assaulted by jail guards there. Now, this decision comes in, this ruling comes in. This here is some of the surveillance video here. You've heard the sheriff offer excuses. 66 people, let me say it again, 66 people have died in the Tarrant County Jail in the past 7 years. 66 people. And we showed you the family members as they appeared at County Commissioner's Court, demanding action. And now we have today this decision from the medical examiner saying this was a homicide. This here is a statement that was released by Tarrant County Commissioner, one of Tarrant County Commissioners, Elisa Simmons. We've had her on the show. She says here, another heart-wrenching jolt for the family of Anthony Johnson Jr. came today with the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's release of Mr. Johnson's autopsy results. The manner of death in Mr. Johnson's Tarrant County Jail death has been ruled a homicide. The cause of death was determined to be both mechanical and chemical asphyxia. I extend my sincerest condolences to Mr. Johnson's parents, siblings, and the entire family during this incredibly challenging time. I am saddened by the determination, yet I am not surprised by it, considering what we all witnessed in the partially released video. Each and every individual who had a role in causing Mr. Johnson's death should be held accountable for their actions or inaction. The accountability I am calling for includes the filing of applicable charges for all involved, to include detention officers, supervisors, and medical personnel. The shocking tactics displayed in the limited video that was released make clear that Sheriff Bill Wayborn is ultimately responsible for this tragedy. I repeat my call for the sheriff to release all remaining video footage that captured the excessive force death of Mr. Johnson to Commissioner's Court members, followed by release to the public. As county executives, the first question we must ask and answer is, could this have been avoided? I look forward to next week when I have my initial meeting with the United States Department of Justice. I'm committed to supporting efforts to ensure the Sheriff's Office is seeking and implementing best practices. Until such time, I believe the Tarrant County Jail could benefit by a review by the U.S. Justice Department. Daryl Washington is the family attorney. Daryl joins us right now. Look, we had y'all on just 24 hours ago, and now we have this determination from the medical examiner. What was the response of Anthony's family?
It was shocking, Roland, and I would say shocking because, you know, we all have seen throughout the country, whenever you have these type of deaths, typically a medical examiner would come back with a ruling that is not consistent with the evidence that's been viewed by the family. But family knew all along, just looking at that partial video, that what happened to their son was murder. So I will tell you, when we gave them the news, it was like them receiving that very first call when they learned that Anthony was dead. So it's been a very difficult day for the family.
And again, you're going to have the sheriff down. Now you got to deal with a medical examiner. Hey, not elected. It's all about the science. Now they have to now deal with this being a homicide. Medical examiner didn't say accidental overdose, didn't say, oh, you know, something else. No, they ruled homicide. That's called murder.
It's clear, Roland. And let me just point out something to you. And it's, you know, all the things that happened is not pointed out to the public yet. But these jailers actually use pepper spray. And a couple of inmates actually came and gave statements that these jailers took the pepper spray and sprayed it directly into his mouth. That's the manner in which they treated him.
Wow.
So this is why a lot of this video has not been released. And when you see this video, as we said all along, people are going to be totally outraged. And this is the reason why they don't want this video to be released, because we know, Roland, and we've seen it all across the country. If there's video footage that shows what law enforcement officials are doing is proper, that video is released immediately without any hesitation. But whenever there's any type of video footage that shows what they did was wrong, then they want to hide behind an investigation. But this video has not been shown for much too long, and it is time for the public to see what's been going on in Tarrant County Jail. And listen, what's going on in Tarrant Jail is happening in the state of Georgia, it's happening in Florida, it's happening all throughout the country. And now we're going to see what Mr. Johnson has been saying all along. We don't want the death of Anthony to be in vain.
You heard the commissioner say she's meeting with the Department of Justice. I mean, look, this is one of those cases where the DOJ should be swooping in. Frankly, the FBI should be coming in, confiscating documents in the sheriff's office and at the Tarrant County Jail.
It's no question, Roland. I know they watch your show. I know people are familiar with what you broadcast out to the public. And when you hear that there's been 66 deaths since 2017, when there have been 6 deaths in 2024 alone, I don't know how much more it takes. We know that this is a problem. And again, as we said yesterday, we're talking about the Tarrant County Jail. We're not talking about a prison facility. So many of the individuals who are there have not even had a day in court. They are innocent individuals. And if the Tarrant County Jail is going to accept people in, then they have a responsibility and an obligation to make sure that they are taken care of.
First of all, he should not be dead. He had a schizophrenic episode, jailed on April 21st. This young man should be alive. He served this nation in the Marines. He should have been treated far better, not just because he was in the Marines, because again, he's a human being, and what they did here was shameful and despicable. It's now being ruled a homicide, and now let's see if the Tarrant County District Attorney is going to be as aggressive prosecuting these jailers as he has been in prosecuting Crystal Mason for voting, and her ballot was never even counted.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Roland. And we've had a number of meetings with them, and I feel very confident now, Roland, to be able to say to know that there are going to be some individuals who are going to be arrested for the death of Mr. Anthony Johnson. The question now is how many individuals are going to be arrested. So I feel confident about that because, when you have events like this, we say it all along, video footage, that is your independent witness. You're not having to take my word for it. You're not having to take nobody else's word. You have that independent witness. So they have no choice in this situation right now. We are going to hold them accountable. I feel confident right now that they are going to go forward. And I do believe, Roland, next week, as early as next week, at least 2 individuals should be arrested for the death of Mr. Johnson.
We certainly hope so. Daryl, we sure appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, Roland.
When COVID happened, poor people were dying at a rate already of 800 people a day. Before COVID, if you went to a funeral every single day, it would take you 600 years to attend all the funerals of the people who will die from the ravages of policy violence, poverty, and low wages in America in just 1 year. It would take you 2 years and 19 days to go to all of the funerals of the people that will die today, and oftentimes silence. Nobody talks about this political genocide, but we are determined today to remember their death and be a resurrection of voting power and voice power like never before.
Economic justice and saving this democracy are deeply connected. We, as a nation, must listen to the demands of the poor, who are pushing and will continue to push political candidates and elected leaders to lift from the bottom so that everybody can rise.
Take back the mic, take back the mic, take back the mic, take back the mic.
We are the poor, the marginalized, and the underpaid. And we are taking one step forward to say that everybody has a right to live.
Poverty is not the fault of those who are impoverished. It is caused by those who make the policy.
There are over 135 million poor and low-wage, low-income people in this nation. The biggest block of potential voters by far is low-income, low-wage voters.
I can't afford medicine. Sometimes I have to skip because of the cost.
The farm worker community is tired of the violence imposed upon us by greed, exclusion, and denial of basic human rights.
Those folk that represented by that casket, poor and low-wage workers who are the most moral people in this country because they go to work every day believing, even though going to work is hazardous to their health.
I'm tired of working 70 to 80 hours a week and still not have money for the necessity of bills. I'm tired of getting sick and not being able to go see the doctor. Having to make a choice to pay between rent or the light bill or food or clothes.
You cannot claim to care about families and a culture of life and then do everything in your power to rob people of equal access to resources and to force them to live in poverty.
Leadership of both parties had waged war on poor people and low-wage workers.
And this government has treated people experiencing poverty, including their military families, with disdainful, deliberate, malicious neglect.
So the truth is that my son died from poverty.
We refuse to accept poverty as the fourth leading cause of death.
The fourth leading cause of death in this, the richest country in the world.
We march today for our children and the generations to come.
And we need to do it with the loudest voices possible, the biggest actions possible.
We will voice our demands and register our vote.
When we stand up and when we stand together, things change.
There is the electorate that is, and then there is the electorate that should be.
34 million eligible poor and low-income voters did not vote in 2016. If just 20% of those voters in swing states were mobilized around an agenda, they could change the political outcome of every election. So we're launching the most massive voter mobilization and turnout campaign in history of poor and low-wage voters, allies, and religious leaders.
People are dying, but we know it doesn't have to be this way. And so we are calling on everyone to join us in this Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival.
We are here, we will be seen, we will be heard, and our power will be felt. We don't need to be an insurrection. We are a resurrection that will be felt across this country. Are you ready? 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 We are a resurrection, and we are ready.
And we